What the f is base superstructure? So, base superstructure is this political theory popularized by two German blokes in like the 1800s called Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. It attempts to describe the general method that society uses to produce itself and reproduce itself. It starts off with a material base which describes how we produce our necessities and like the general things we need to live in society, like, food, transport, Wi-Fi. Then it moves on to the superstructure, which describes how we make sure we can continue to reproduce those conditions. And the base is kind of made of three essential parts. It's the materials, like all the stuff that we actually use, all the raw materials we use to like make society, the tools we use to make use of those materials, and then thirdly, the organization, which is how we organize to use those tools on those materials to end up, making all the shit we need. And the particular way we end up using those three things come together to make a mode of production, which is kind of just a fancy way of saying, the specific way that you end up doing shit like capitalism or communism or socialism or anarchism. It could be any of these kind of modes of producing society. And the mode of production is the coming together of all those material things that actually help us create society. But then we have this other shit that goes on kind of above the material stuff, like the most important one being the governments that we have, all these political bodies that attempt to make sure that we can continue reproducing society as we did before. And then even below that, we have, cultural institutions and cultural products, like all the movies, all of the books, all of the memes. People would generally say that the superstructure stuff, like the political bodies, the legal bodies, all the cultural stuff ends up being just this kind of reflection of the mode of production. It kind of comes afterwards. But a lot of people do disagree on that. Like, a lot of people think that, the cultural stuff can actually have an influence on the base, or the political bodies can actually do stuff to move, let's say the organization, the tools. So it's a complicated thing. Like, not many people agree on one single way of doing it. But it's kind of useful to know, just because then you can kind of start looking at society in maybe a bit of a different way in terms of how we end up producing and reproducing stuff.